Okay, we'll wait for 2 minutes. Let's let others join.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್?
ಏನಪ್ಪ?
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ಲೈನಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್?
ನೀವು ಬಂದರೆ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದರೆ ಆಫ್ಲೈನ್. ಇಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಯು ಆರ್ ರೆಡಿ ಟು ಕಮ್? ರೆಡಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆ? We'll see. Maybe first internals, maybe it's online only, I guess. It depends on government. Okay. Okay, I'll just take for 30 minutes of class because I have exam duty. See, last class, we saw what is, I'll just list out the topics. We saw how we manage storage management, how we manage the storage and why it is necessary. And also we saw what is the data and how it is converted to digital form and why it is converted, its facts. And also we saw types of data, that is your structured data and unstructured data. Structured data is nothing but which is stored in rows and columns, where unstructured data is your data which is not organized in rows and columns. That is your difference of structured and unstructured. Structured, it is only 10% of data, and remaining 90% of data in the storage will be unstructured. And also we saw what is the big data. Big data is nothing but whose sizes are beyond the ability of storing it, accessing it, then it is called big data. And how it is handled, we saw it. And also ecosystem. We saw 4 factors where we have data devices which collects, data collectors which will be collecting the information from the data devices which will generate the information or data, or data collector which will collect the data from the data devices which is generated. Data aggregation, what it does is it aggregates and makes it proper to be promoted for the users or buyers of the data. And data users or buyers, they use these data things for their business purposes or any other purpose. They use the data or buy it to their own. This is your ecosystem, how it will be handled upon 4 components. See, next from the topic which we start is the information for today's class. See, as I told, we already know what is information. I already told information is nothing but whichever the data which is dumped in the storage, the knowledge or the facts which we get, or the data used for creating something is nothing but your information. All this data will be gathered and informations will be generated. This is nothing but where information is an intelligence and knowledge which is derived from the data. And why it is important, because see, in business, what it happens is where they analyze the raw data which is collected in the storage and identify it, and they convert this to a meaningful trend. They catch the trendy things in the data and they use this for their business. For example, when you go for some retail, when the retail, in the retailers, what they do is when the customers comes and for example you have 10 customers where 5 people are more interested to take one product, then they catch on the trendy things where they concentrate on that particular thing and they stock up the things and they follow the same pattern or whatever the analysis will be done so that the product will be promoted to the customers in a proper way. What they does is they analyze their purchase patterns and maintain an inventory of those products, where inventory is nothing but you stock up the things or you make a list of things which is stocked up. Inventory is nothing but overall information about that particular product. For this business trends or catchy things, the information is very necessary to be derived from the data. This is one important thing why we need the information which is derived from the data. And one more thing is, when we analyze the data effectively, what it does is it create the potential for new business opportunities. This is the main thing why we are deriving the information and why the data analysis is very important. It creates the potential and it gives the opportunity for new business trends. This is regarding your information. Next is your storage. As I told, storage, you're aware, the common term, general thing is storage is nothing but which is used to store something, where storage is, it stores the data. When we come for the SAN, that is storage area network point of view, is which stores the data created by individual or organization. It can be used to store data which is created by individual or it is related to the organization. For both the purpose, the storage is used, and also it provides access to data for further processing. See, storage is in the SAN. When we talk storage, it will store the data and also it will process and you can retrieve the data from it. Storing and reading is also, write and read is done in the SAN storages, where you store the data and also you can retrieve the data when you want to process the data. This is the main definition of the storage, where it stores data which is created by individual or an organization for processing the or accessing the data. For example, for the storage is your media card in cell phone, that is your memory card or digital camera, DVD, CD-ROMs, disk drivers, disk arrays, tapes. We'll see in the further classes, we'll see a few examples in detail how the storage is done. See, these are all these few examples which is given for the storage. Next is your evolution of storage architecture. See, evolution of storage architecture is when the storage concept started in SAN. Before SAN, how it was like, you have a centralized computers, that is you call them as mainframe computers, and also for storage devices like your tapes and disks. These were used for storing the purpose and for accessing overall information. That is, you have a centralized computers, and for storage you have tapes and disks in the data centers. This was followed historically before the concept of SAN came through. And this system, after this we had open systems. See, after we have the centralized mainframe was handled, then due to some disadvantages, we evaluated to the open systems. See, open system is nothing but we use servers and storage, where organizations, when they don't depend on any other servers or storage, they maintain their own servers and storage. This is this was implemented in after your centralized mainframe. Then the open system concept came, where when you're using own servers and storage, one important thing is we had a storage within the servers, and it is called as server-centric storage architecture. See, in the PPT, you can see towards your left side, we have server-centric storage architecture, where we have department server 1, department 2 server, and department 3 server. We had the organizations, data centers had their own servers, and also which is built in with the storage, not huge storage, limited storage for each and every server. This is called server-centric storage architecture, and it is also called as open systems, where server will be maintained for each department, and within the server we had limited number of storage. This is your server-centric storage. But as this was effective initially, but as the days goes on, we had few disadvantages in this. See, what is disadvantages is that we had limited number of storage, and also we had maintenance of server became very hectic when capacity need to be increased. When you get so much of data to be stored, then the server maintenance was very impossible and it was hectic. And also, because of this hectic job, I mean, servers were unavailable to the to process the information because of this capacity issue. These are all the major things why open systems need to be evaluated to the for adopting the other systems. And also, when you want to, for example, for this one solution they found is we need to increase the number of servers. That is, number of servers increases number of storage. This was the concept. But what happened in that is that when the number of servers was increased, then we had few issues like the data was unprotected, unmanaged, and also capacity was increased, cost was increased to peaks. This is the main disadvantage of a server-centric storage architecture. Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay. See, server-centric is that we maintain individual servers and storage is done there and data is processed. And we saw the issues of server-centric storage architecture. And for these things, we needed an alternative. So this gave a lead to the information-centric storage architecture. You can see an arrow where we come across server-centric storage architecture to information-centric storage architecture, and here we use a storage network. I'm showing in arrows, you can see here we use a storage network. And why when we adopted this, all the challenges which was faced in server-centric was eliminated. All the issues which was faced in server-centric was eliminated, where servers had the job only to process the information, where it collects the request from the clients, and through the storage network it will be accessed, and through the storage it can give back the response to the client. This was the only job of server, where it gives the request and the responses which is sent from the SAN, it will be given to the client. And then we had storage also. Separate storage led to very advantageous things like, see, we had uh, where we had multiple storage which is shared. See, for example, in your server centric, what was happening is we could not share the servers from when the data is resident in one. For example, we want some data related to market, then department one is responsible for that. For example, I'm saying, then you cannot access market data in your department 2 or department 3. You should go only for your department 1. This was the main issue in your server centric. But what was happening in that is information centric is, when you request data to department 1 about market or any other things, if department 1 server is busy with accessing something, then the request will be passed to department 2. So department 2 will go to SAN, access it, gives the response and access the data, and gives the response to your client. This was major thing where multiple servers can be used for accessing the request, where your servers are made centralized one, where you can access any server for getting any kind of data. And also we increase the capacity of storage because we concentrate on separated storage, where you can increase the when compared to your server centric approach, information centric, what it does is it has an individual and independent storage system. So the data, whatever the capacity is increased when you compare to that. And one more thing is, it is easier to manage. The management of servers or overall structure was very easy when compared to your server centric, and also cost effective. It was cost effective also. This is the evolution of storage architecture. When they asked in exam, two diagrams, first you write about the server centric, then after that write the disadvantages at the end, then you adopt to the writing about your information centric, how it is due to this disadvantages, what was the approach followed, and then you write about your information centric. See, these are the things like evolution of storage architecture, that is server centric to information centric. I'll provide you the notes after each module. I'll provide you the notes and also the question bank, no worries. Okay, and I'll just share the PPTs as module completes. Next is your data center infrastructure. See, if you get any doubts, please stop me. Okay, next is your data center infrastructure. So as I told, we have already learnt about data center. As I told, organizations, in each and every organizations where data is processed, they maintain the data center, where what does this data center do is, it stores the information and also resources of technologies, like which is used for physical information technologies. It will store that, and it will help in computing, networking also. You can compute it, or you can connect to any other network and also store data. This is the three important functionalities of your data center. You can see the definition here. See, it facilitates that contains storage, compute and network. That is, it can compute and also store the data, and also network is nothing but you can connect to any other network for accessing the IT resources, and which will provide centralized data processing capabilities. That is, for processing data, this data centers is maintained, and the main job is it should store the data, compute it, and if it is necessary, it should connect to the networks. See, what it does is, see, infrastructure of data computers, the minimum infrastructure of the components which should be there to be called as data center is, first one obviously it is computers, set of computers, and storage system, network devices, power backups for the electronic goods, you want power backups, and also environmental controls like fire extinguishers, the etc. These are all the basic components which should be there in the uh, data centers, where you have computers, storage, network devices, power backups, and also your environmental controls. And next, the main important topic is the core elements of data center. See, we have few core elements of data center which will play a major role in computing the things or networking the things or storing the things. These elements will offer you the functionality of data center. Those are application, database management system, DBMS, host or compute, network, and storage array. These are all the core elements which will actually do the job of data centers. We'll see what is application. See, application is nothing but which provides the logic for computing operations. It will give the logic or programming thing for doing the process. For example, order processing system. When you give some data and you want it to be ordered properly, then order processing system logic will be used. What this application does is it stores the logic of the program. When some data should be processed in particular logic, the application is used for doing it. This is the main job of your application. Next, DBMS, you are aware of what DBMS does. What it does is it stores the data and retrieval of the data is done. Storage and retrieval of the data is done using your DBMS in rows and columns, that is structured data. As I told, when DBMS come across, you go for your structured data. All other data is unstructured. Next is your host or compute. See, host or compute is nothing but it gives the platform like your hardware or software, which runs the application and databases. On this host, our application and database is dealt. See, in the second chapter, we will go in detail with diagrams how it is done. But now we'll just see the basic things what it is included. See, host or data is which is used to run application and DBMS. This is the main thing which computes application and DBMS is your host. And next is network. Network, as I told, which facilitates the communication among various network devices, which is necessity for the application to run. This is the job of your network, which connects to the different networks. Next, storage array. Storage array is nothing but, here storage array, what it does is, it stores data persistently for subsequent use. Whatever the data which is generated, this storage array will store it and it will actually store the data which will be used in further. No other special duty about, functionality about storage array. It will just store the data. These are all the core elements. Any doubts? Okay. See, as I'll repeat once again in brief, see, applications will give only the logic, how, for example, ordering, how you order the things, the logic will be, or the program will be stored in the application and it gives the logic for it. DBMS is used to store the data and also retrieving the data. And in DBMS, for DBMS and storage array, what is the difference is, DBMS, you give an initiation to store a data. You go to a particular thing and you make a point that this data should be stored. But storage array is nothing but it will be updating the data automatically so that it can be used further, where data is updated automatically. Host is, it creates a platform for running the application and also storage and retrieval, that is DBMS. Network will help in communicating with various other networks or devices. This is the core elements of data center, and these core elements work together to address data processing requirements. As I told, functionality of data center is nothing but data processing capabilities. For achieving this core elements is very important, and all the functionalities is done using this core elements. Okay. See, this is the one example of your data center where we are taking a example like online order transaction system. Online order transaction system. See, here we are taking an example like when a person want to order a item. This is online ordering. We are just taking information when a person wants to order an information, how it is stored in storage array. Only one way, that is only order is taken from client to storage. Here we don't, in example, we don't include the other way. We are just taking the orders. See, first is customer will place an order through its device, that is wherever the client machine, from client machine the customer will place an order which will be sent to or initiated to host, that is your you have OS and DBMS in your host. The OS is nothing but your application, DBMS is your storage, that is database. Through this LAN, the order item or the initiation request of client will be given to your host. And what the host does is, see, here the in host or compute, what it does is it will take the request and also it gives the application to client for entering the order related information such as your customer name, address, payment method. You know, you'll order a number of things in online. All the processing after after you want to buy a product, whatever the processing is done, all the application form will be given to your client from the host to client. This is the second second point, where first is client will give the request or opinion that he wants to buy a product. Then what the host is done is he wanted to collect the host wanted to collect the information regarding the product so that to place an order. Then what it does is, then after collecting the data is stored in DBMS, that is the database, the data what item data will be stored in your DBMS, and then the communication is transferred to storage network. The communication is transferred to storage network, and with this help of storage network, we store the data in the storage arrays. This is the functionality of your storage network. Whatever the data in the database, it is stored temporarily, it will be communicated to storage network, and in turn it stores in storage array. See, here in DBMS, this data is only retained until the storage is done in storage array. Once the storage is done in storage array, this data will not be retained. There will be direct communication from client to the storage array. Client will place the order, whatever the client has the details, it will be stored in storage array. End-to-end communication is done, but Here, host plays a major role. It will communicate, what the host does is, it will communicate both the client and storage, and the information is stored. This is the example where we saw how the transaction or how the data center transactions are done. The main thing is the main elements is your host, storage array, your application. OS is nothing but your application, DBMS, and network. Network comes to your LAN or WAN or storage network. These are the main components of your storage. See, in this example, in the notes, I have clearly given the points. You can write the point-wise details, how the order is placed in your exam. This is a small example of how the data center usually works. Okay. Okay, I'll stop here. I have exam duty. I'll just record any doubts in the class, your understanding, any issues? ಏನಾದರೂ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದಕ್ಕಾದ್ರೂ ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
Yes, ma'am.
ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಓಕೆ. Okay, I'll share the detailed notes also. Don't worry. Textbook nim reference kalsidashte, because you'll not be having hard copy also. For your reference, I have sent. Very easy subject. You can score very well, and it is interesting subject also. And you don't have much concepts. Another 2 concepts. The first chapter is completed. You have 3 chapters, and almost in each chapter 2 to 3 topics. That's it. Very easy subject. If you study, you can score well. Okay, I have recorded the attendance. You can leave the class.